So the Premier League's expected to return this coming weekend with some tasty matches on the agenda, including a debut for bloody Potter's boys, Chelsea, as they take on Liverpool. Who's going to come out on top? We'll take a look at it. All of it next. That's right, folks. We're going to a prediction video today. We look forward to match day. What is it? Number 8, of course, over the Premier League. Technically, is of course match number 7, with of course the unexpected, unplanned hiatus this past weekend. Of course, as the teams return to action, who's going to take full advantage? We'll take a look at it, of course, in just a second. Of course, people shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button back and say all things Rovers related, Premier League related, woo, Cup related later this year. That's right, of course. So let's get into it, of course, and recap what we didn't do last weekend because the games were not happening. There's my Luna. Of course, let's take a look at it. These were the games that were scheduled. Of course, absolutely nothing going on. It was a desert of games. No goals, no drama. That's all going to have to be redone, including that mouth-watering tie there, City against Spurs. We'll do that again another day. So yes, maybe an opportunity. Some teams will probably be happy with the postponement, getting players back from injury, that sort of stuff. Chelsea a little bit extra time to prepare with a new coach. So yeah, again, they've also got their own Champions League adventures to prepare for as well. So some teams would have looked forward to it, some teams would not. Probably Liverpool want to get back on the saddle, of course, after the demolition job they received from Napoli in the Champions League. But anyway, Arsenal remain top of the table for another week, of course, as you see, leading the charge, 15 points over possible 18. There's City next, of course, Spurs, and then Brighton, who, of course, are looking for a new manager. Again, another bit of an extra bit of time, bit of cushion for them to figure that out. I don't even know if that's been worked on at all, but regardless of all that, Leicester are in a bit of trouble, Forest as well, and West Ham United are, despite their recent turn of events, are in trouble as well. It is very tight at the bottom, of course. Anything could happen over the next couple of games. The Super Brew, are we even bothering with the Super Brew right now? Because not much has been going on. That's, of course, the Scottish. Again, recapping the where we were, where I left off. And we're just going to jump the leaderboard right here, right now. So, of course, Ferris 77 kicking ass, taking him 63 points on the board. Con DJ Snakes up there with 62.5. Whitby up there in 3rd. And then the likes of Kume up there in the joint 6. Weller up 4 spots as well. I am down 4 spots to 16, but okay, it's a marathon, not a sprint, guys. We'll be competing with the big boys soon in that top 5. You'll wait and see. And again, if your name's in there, your name should be in there if you've had a crack at it. It is free as well. Get in amongst it. Of course, some guys give up the ghost after just one weekend. But no, just got to stick at it. Stick at it, guys. Of course, if you want to get involved, cut4/EPL premise, 100% free, of course. I'm not getting anything out of it. I just want an easy way to keep the Prediction League moving on in the right direction. So that's the link. Get involved, of course. But these are the games that are scheduled, penciled in, I'd say, for this weekend. There may be, of course, some postponements because of police issues, that we might not have enough police to police these games. But my anticipation is that the games are going to go ahead with, of course, a couple may get kiboshed, but we're going to crack on with them anyway, of course. And there was actually one postponement already, which is the Brighton Crystal Palace game. That's not going to happen through train strikes. Regardless, but let's get into the deep end. Of course, Villa up against Southampton, of course, coming at you on Friday, September the 16th. Now, these two sides played 39 times in 1993, 15 minutes for Villa, 16 minutes for Southampton. 8 draws, of course, just 1 win in 5, though, for Villa right now, 42% form for them. Up against Southampton side, just 1 win in 3 for them, 58% form over the last 6. Last time around over at Villa Park, it was a 4-0 win for Villa back in March 2022. Of course, Villa coming into Tottenham again, a 1-1 draw, impressive 1-1 draw against Manchester City. Wolves with the 1 win over Southampton, of course, last time out as well. Again, all eyes on this one. Well, it's actually not really, because there's 2 games going on Friday, September the 16th. 21-20 is your Villa, 30-5 is your 5-2 is your away win here. Villa Villa definitely need a result to get themselves out of that relegation fight, because a slip up this weekend could see them in the drop zone heading into the international break, which of course gives many board members or important VIP figures the chance to revisit their managerial situation. So it's a must-needed win for Villa, and I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Villa as well in the end, and that could actually see them be 11 on points with Southampton heading into the international break. Going to be a much needed relief for the likes of Stevie G. And say can be said though for Forest as they take on Fulham, of course, this coming weekend at the City Ground. It's not been the greatest start to the campaign for Stevie Cooper, who is a contender, I believe, to take over the reins at Brighton. Played each of these two sides 17 times in 1999, 5 wins for Forest, 9 wins for Fulham, and we've got 3 draws, of course. Forest, though, we're losing 3 in the bounce, 42% form for them right now. Up against the Fulham side, 42% form. We're losing 3 of the last 4 for them as their championship form or championship status or one of that tips to be one of the relegation candidates return to rear its ugly head. Last round though, over at the City Ground, it was a 4-0 win for Fulham back in October 2021. I was in the Championship. Of course, that was probably in the early days of Stevie Cooper's reign. In fact, the home side's only won once of the last 6. That's when Fulham beat Forest at Craven Cottage back in February 2018. Forest pick up a 3-2 loss to Bournemouth last round. Tottenham with a 2-1 win over Fulham as well. The odds right here right now, of course, 50-8 is your Forest, 64 is your away win, 11-5 is the draw here. 1-0 winning in for Forest, 3 points in the bag, move the chains, and of course up the ladder they also go. Put the likes of maybe West Ham, Leicester, Everton, or even Palace and Co down in the mixer, in the shitter even, as we move forward. Like I said, Brighton against Palace is not going to go ahead. Another a bit more time actually. It actually works out in favour for Brighton to maybe even take as long as they need to get the right man in the hot seat. Of course, if there's no action here, there's going to be no action for the next couple of weeks with the international break. So I don't think it's going to be a major rush. They'll probably even wait to see what happens on these results. For example, if Rodgers was to get a shit show and get fired after the result against Spurs, maybe they'll go after Rodgers. Of course, we'll have to see about that. Get your money where your mouth. I would have went with a draw anyway. I'm going to put that out there. I would have went with a draw if somehow, somewhere along the line it happens. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw because I had to for the state of the table. Kicking off for it is Wolves against Manchester City. Of course, coming at you, and Molyneux played to the 28 times in 1996. 10 wins for Wolves, 50 wins for City. 3 draws, of course. Just one defeat in the past 6 games for Wolves right now. 58% form. And because the City side, of course, haven't lost in the last 6. 75% form for them right now. Last round, Molyneux was a 5-1 win for City back in May 2022. Of course, City winning 4 in the bounce against Wolves and scoring a whole bunch of goals in the process. 13 goals in the last 4 games against Wolves. Wolves pick up a 1 win over Southampton, back-to-back clean sheets for them. And of course, haven't lost in the last 4 matches. A couple of wins and a couple of draws. Meanwhile, City with a 4-0 win over Sevilla. Also in action this weekend against midweek against Dortmund in the Champions League. The odds here 70-2 is your Wolves. Of course, a 3-1 on is your City. 4-1 is your draw. I'm back in City with a 3-0 win, comfortable win as well. And of course, Haaland amongst the goals. Newcastle United up against Bournemouth in the Eddie Howe derby. That's why I come out at St James's Park. Those are the 8 times in 2015 form was Newcastle, 2 for Bournemouth and 2 draws. Just 1 defeated past 6 games for Newcastle right now. 50% form for them. Up against the Bournemouth side, just 1 defeated past 4 for them. 42% form over the last 6. Last time around, though, over at St James's Park, it was a 2-1 win for the Geordies back in November 2019. That was in the Premier League. In fact, Newcastle unbeaten against Bournemouth over the last 5, pick up 3 wins and a couple of draws. Bournemouth pick up a 3-2 win over Forest. In fact, make it back-to-back games without a loss since that 9-0 drubbing by Liverpool. Of course, Newcastle also back to, well, actually a 0-0 draw for them last time against Crystal Palace. Of course, with a defeat whistling in their ears still from Liverpool not too long ago. 29 on is your Geordies, 10-3 is your draw, and 13-2 is your away win here. 2-1 in the end for the Geordies here. 3 points in the bag. Eddie Howe taking the 3 points from his old club and potentially shooting up as high as 6th in the table. Spurs up against Leicester. Of course, could this be the end for Rodgers at Leicester City? That's why I come at you at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Played to the 36 times 94. 16 wins for Spurs, 14 wins for Leicester, 6 draws. Of course, Spurs though unbeaten in the last 6 games, 83% form winning for the last 5. Up against the Leicester side, just 1 win in 6, 17% form for them moving forward. Last round though was the 3-1 win for Spurs at the stadium, of course, back in May 2022. Spurs pick up 3 wins on the spin against Leicester and scoring 10 goals in the last 3 games combined. Spurs pick up a 2-0 win over Marseille. Last round they are taking on Sporting Lisbon on the road in Portugal this weekend. Leicester, of course, 5-2 loss to Brighton in what, of course, proved to be Potter's last match in charge. Of course, the odds right here right now, we are looking at Spurs 2-1 over the Richie, 11-2 is your away win, and 16-5 is your draw here. I'm going 4-1 demolition job, and that will probably be final nail in the coffin for Leicester City and Rodgers indeed. Brentford up against Arsenal, of course, coming out at the Community Stadium, and that's on Sunday. Of course, 3 times they played since 2018. 2 was for Arsenal, 1 for Brentford, no draws, of course. Brentford, though, just 1 defeat past 6, 67% form for them. Up against the Arsenal side, just 1 defeat past 6, 82% form for them moving forward as well. Last time around, though, of course, over at the Brentford, it was a 2-0 win for Brentford. That was back in August 2021. Of course, Arsenal picked up a 2-1 win over Zurich, of course, in the Europa League, with Brentford with a 5-2 win over Leeds. Of course, Arsenal up against PSV this weekend, a bit of a zinger over in the Europa League. Of course, they are, of course, the odds for this one. We have now 10-3 is your Brentford, 5-4 on is your Arsenal, 11-4 is your draw. Have the real Arsenal showed up? I think they all squeaked this one. 2-1 win in the end. 3 points in the bag, and again, remain top of the table heading into the international break, which, of course, will be a big tonic for the likes of Arteta and co. Everton up against West Ham, of course, coming at you at Goodison Park. Both sides need results, of course, down the foot of the table, both on 4 points right here, right now. Picture 56 times 94, 29 wins for Everton, 13 wins for West Ham, and we've got 14 draws. Of course, Everton unbeaten the last 5, 50% form for them, picking up 4 draws and a win up against the West Ham side, just 1 defeat past 5, and then 58% form for them moving forward as well. Last time around, the over at Goodison Park, it was a 1-0 win for West Ham back in October 2021. Of course, West Ham back-to-back wins over Everton. Of course, this is the Moisey derby. 3-1 it was, of course, for West Ham over Bucharest in the Europa League. Of course, Everton with that impressive 0-0 draw against Liverpool last time around. The odds right here, right now, we've got Everton 90-10 for the 87-5 is your way, and 12-5 is the draw here. 1-1 in the end, Everton with the point. So are West Ham. It's as you were at the foot of the table into the international break. And then, of course, we have a bit of a derby as well of sorts. It is, of course, the Pennines derby or whatever they call it, or the Rose derby, whatever it is. It's United, Manchester up against Leeds, of course, at Old Trafford. Now, these two sides played 30 times in 1984, 80 wins for Manchester United, 5 wins for Leeds United, and 7 draws, of course. Manchester United, of course, just 1 defeat past 5 for them, 67% form up against Jesse Marsh's boys. 3 games without a win now, 50% form. That's 1-2 lost 2 and drawn 2 over the last 6. Last time around, though, at Old Trafford was a 5-1 win for Manchester United. Of course, that was back in August 2021. In fact, they did a double over Leeds last season, scoring 9 goals, however, conceding 3. In fact, over the last 5 or 6 games between the two sides, United picked up 10, 19, 22 goals against Leeds in all competitions and all venues. So they like playing them recently. Of course, United, though, did lose to, of course, Manchester United did lose to Real Sociedad this past midweek in the Europa League. Brentford, of course, did a demolition job on Leeds United, 5-2, of course, at Brentford, of course, last weekend, or last time they were in action. Of course, the odds here, 29 on is your Manchester United, of course, 54 short, and 11-2 is your wayside here. And back in, of course, the host with a 3-2 win for, of course, Man United taking the 3 points, and again, potentially shooting up as top of the table if everything else goes their way. And then wrap it up. We are, of course, got the Potter's debut is, of course, Chelsea up against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. Played each other 82 times in 1993, 31 wins for Chelsea, 30 wins for Liverpool, and 21 draws. Of course, Chelsea, though, 2 wins in the last 6, 42% form up against the Liverpool side, who've won 2, lost 2, and drawn 2 over the last 6. That's 50% form for them moving forward. Last time around in competitive action, in the Premier League action at Stamford Bridge, it was a 2-2 draw back in January 2022. Of course, Chelsea with a 1-0 loss against Zagreb. They are in action against Salzburg this weekend over at Stamford Bridge. Liverpool, of course, with that 4-1 loss to Napoli up against Ajax this weekend over at Anfield as well. So a busy week for both of these two sides. 8-5 is your Chelsea, 5-2 is draw, and 8-5 is your away win here. Going to go with a tense one here, 2-2 in the end, point in the back for Potter, and of course Klopp as they head into the national break with a bit of a damp squib, none the same. That's, of course, my take on it. Be sure to get your own take on it as well. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. Arsenal leading the charge with 18 points, with City, Spurs on 17 points, Manchester United up there in 4th in 15th spot, with, of course, Brighton hanging in there on 5th with a game in hand. So they won't be there technically. They would still be there technically. A game in hand. That's, of course, that. So be sure to get your own picks. It is free. Cut it for EPL Prem. And again, yeah, we should be back again. There is still a small chance that some of those games may not go ahead due to security issues. Of course, a police presence is required across the United Kingdom this weekend for the build-up for the Queen's funeral. So the big game that perhaps Chelsea gets may end up getting kiboshed again. I'm going with the expectation that it's going to go ahead. So if it doesn't, we'll just take it. We'll ride with it and see what happens when we return after the international break, of course. But while we are on international break, there's going to be a lot of content coming at you on the channel in relation to the World Cup. We're, of course, taking a look at the World Cup previews for all the nations, all 32, and even squad predictions as well. So look forward to those coming at you as a very, very a good chance to get in the mood for Qatar 2022. But until then, guys, make sure you smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below, Twitter, Facebook, and of course Patreon and Indeed. But until then, guys and girls, we are out for now.